Hi, welcome to the Dirt Trail Running Podcast. My name is Michelle Hartwig, and I am your host. And tonight we have Coach Loretta here with us.
Hi.
She's sitting in for Crystal the Pistol, who has an event at school with her daughter. And normally Coach Loretta's behind the scenes, and she gets all of these awesome guests, like the original marathon man, Jerry Dunn, who has set the world record twice for running the most marathons in one calendar year, smashing his own record with 186 marathons his second time. And he founded and started one of my favorite races that is not one of my own favorite races, but one that I've ran a couple times, which is called Lean Horse 100, which was actually just last weekend. And we had a bunch of ornery mules out there running. Yeah. So thank you so much, Jerry, for coming to the show. It's really a pleasure. I'm so excited to get to know you.
Well, I'm happy to be here, and thanks for having me on. And I'll reveal some of my secrets.
Yay! We're taking
some of my
notes.
history. Okay. So.
Yeah, you've had a really interesting life. And done I mean, it's just unbelievable amount of stuff that you've done in running. Did you start as a runner as a young kid, or how did you get into that?
You know, my kid's story is the 5th grade, and we were having a field day event, and they were separated into classes A, B, and C according to your size. There were only 2 of us in class C because I was a little runt in grade school. And so I won first place in the 50-yard dash in the 5th grade. But then I didn't run again until I was in the military. I never was a runner until.
Uh-oh. Can you hear him?
No, Loretta? I can't.
Okay.
No, it looks like he froze. Can you hear us, Jerry?
What's that? Oh.
Not unmute.
Okay. Sorry.
Yeah, he's back.
Yeah, good. So, excellent. So we
so anyway.
Yeah, we missed quite a bit of that.
Oh, okay. So I'm working in a restaurant at night. I'm hanging out at the beach every day with my girlfriend. Her brother is the head lifeguard. And he starts saying, "Come on and run with us. You look like a runner." And I said, "Johnny, I hate running. I don't like it at all." And just to shut him up one day, I ran a quarter mile on the beach on Siesta Key Beach in Florida. And as I like to say, you know, that little did I know then that I would be started just to shut up a friend of mine who wouldn't leave me alone about running. So kind of an inauspicious beginning to what finally happened. Yeah.
Did you like it?
So you know, as I often say, it was a lot different than running in a military uniform with a backpack on Heartbreak Hill in Fort Knox. Running barefoot on the beach on Siesta Key, Florida, was a whole lot more fun than that other kind of running, which is the only running I'd known because I hadn't ever done it before. So, so I ended up. There were Tuesday night competitions on the beach, and so I kind of got the bug. But the first 2 years that I ran exclusively on the beach barefoot. I didn't own a pair of running shoes until I saw in the Sarasota Herald Tribune that they were having their first annual 10K. So I went out a pair of Nikes and just tore the hell out of my feet. And it took me a little over an hour to run a 10K. But that was my first ever race. It was a 10K in Sarasota, Florida.
And it felt funny to have shoes on?
It did. Because I was so used to barefoot running. And I've been wearing Vibrams off and on for my whole 40-year career. In the last couple of years, I pretty much worn them exclusively. except on some of the tougher trail runs where, you know, I need more cushioning. But anyway, yeah, I ran the first 2 years of my running career without any running shoes.
That probably
So,
made you have extremely strong feet. I mean, it was definitely a great way to start out on the sand and with a little bit of
yeah,
movement in there. That's really super cool.
yeah. You know, I did some research later on, many years later, but some Russian scientists had written a book about barefoot running and how it's actually, you know, we came on the planet without shoes with devicing in them, and you know, his theory was that we should be barefoot as much as we can, and shoes have actually caused some of the issues that, you know, we runners have. That's not a good thing to say, but I kind of believe it, and so I just love to run barefoot.
Yeah, that's really interesting. So you went from you're barefoot running just to shut your buddy up on the beach, and then you did your first 10K, and then you did super huge, 93 and 93 and all these big huge long runs. How did the 10K transition to those?
Oh, that 10K was 1977, and so we're talking 16 years later before we get to 93 and 93. But the transition was kind of a progress. I mean, I after that 10K, I started looking. If you may not remember, back in the late 70s, the 10K was pretty much the predominant race. I mean, there were 10Ks everywhere and 5Ks, but there weren't as many marathons and ultra marathons. So I did a lot of 10Ks in Florida, and to 93. I did my first marathon in 83, and then a buddy of mine who owned a running store in Indianapolis in 88 turned me on to trail running. We have this great park in Indianapolis called Eagle Creek Park. And so he said, you need to learn to run trails. So he took me out to the trail with a couple of his buddies. And by the way, he held the minute mile record of 4:06 at Butler University. So anyway, we go out there to start running trails, and he and his buddies say, we're on the trail, and they took off at their pace. And I'm still, struggling to run 7-minute miles consistently. And I get lost in the woods because they didn't hang around and wait for me. They were trail running. And then we'd fast forward to, I met an ultra running, a friend of mine who started doing ultras. So I started crewing for him. I crewed for him on one of his 50 milers. He was even crazier than I am. I don't know if you've ever heard of the double Ironman that used to be held every other year in Huntsville, Alabama. And it's double Ironman distances. And he decided he was going to do that.
Yeah.
So I crewed for him in the swim, and then slept until he did the 224-mile bike. And then I met him to do his 52-mile run, and I crewed for him. And not long after that, I crewed for him on his first 100. And that's when I realized that I can do this, because I did the whole 50 miles with him. And obviously it was pretty slow because he was already had done those other two events. But so that takes us to 89. And that's when I started. I'm a little impulsive and don't always do things in the right way, but I decided I was going to increase my distances rather than jump from a 50 miler to a 100 miler. I'd actually done a 50K back at the Muncie Running Festival. Then I did 60K, and then I did 100K, the one in then in 89, I finally decided to try my first 100 in Vermont, back when there were only 1,200 milers in the United States. And this will get us a good segue into lean horse, because after I did my first 100-miler in Vermont, which was the easiest 100-miler, and did really well, by the way. I did 22:41 in my first 100. And I thought there needs to be another easier yet 100. And I'd already created Deadwood Mickelson Trail Marathon on the Mickelson Trail. So, and that trail is 112 miles long. So I decided, let's do 100-miler right here on my home court, where I've already established myself and I know the Mickelson Trail. So that's 2005 is when we started the Lean Horse Ultra.
Oh, I actually have an award that I won at the.
Oh, I made that.
You did.
I'll tell you what, part of my story is for many years in creating all these events, I did everything. And, I had a warehouse where I had all my stuff stored to put on the events. And I got in there and cut up all those pieces of wood. I went out, I'm a city boy who's now living in South Dakota. But I'd seen old horseshoes laying around. So I went out and collected old horseshoes so they wouldn't be brand new ones, cleaned them up, made all those awards. And that makes it more special now.
It does. I did not know that. That is so cool.
That is so cool.
Now I got to read the back of, I just never really paid attention to it. There's a stamping on the back. I didn't know that it was an old found horseshoe that was on there.
Yeah. Anyway, you suggested that we talk about how Lean Horse came about, and it was because, we're beyond the 200 and 2000 and the 93 and 93, where I started Deadwood Mickelson in 2002, and then Lean Horse in 2005. I'll flash back in a minute and throw a couple items at you about those other two things, but it ended up being, I looked at it as well, first of all, I became the 13th 100-miler in the United States back then, and I think there are over 200 100-milers now, aren't there?
Yeah, there is. Kettle was one of the first 10 under the first 10 hundreds in the country. And so I didn't realize that Lean Horse was just that shortly afterwards. That's really special.
So when did Kettle start?
95, I believe. I'm going to have to look it up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, as long as you say 95 while you're looking it up, I'll slip in the wedding story, because that's the year that I got married at the Disney World Marathon, the second annual Disney World Marathon in January of 95. And when I moved to South Dakota, I met a lady who was the little town of Spearfish had not seen any ladies out running around in Lycra tights, and she decided that she was going to run the first Black Hills Marathon, and she ended up. And when I was doing my 93 and 93, one of my venues was the Black Hills Marathon. So that's where we met. And then 2 years later, we got married at the Disney World Marathon. So they called her Wonder Woman around. Yeah.
That's awesome. Did you dress up for the Disney? Were you guys characters or?
Well, I have this thing about wearing my tuxedo for a lot of things. And that's another story I want to tell you about. But she wore, she wore a white leotard that had about 9 million sequins sewed on it. She had a Velcro wraparound full wedding skirt with a train. So when we were running, she was wearing, the white leotard and a tiara, and I was wearing my tuxedo. I ran the whole thing in my tuxedo.
We stopped
at mile 10. Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh.
We stopped in front of the castle in the Magic Kingdom, and that's where Disney produced the ceremony. So we've got this So the best picture is Mickey on one side, Donald on the other side, the bride and the groom in wedding clothes and running shoes, with the castle in the background, and that was the signature photo that went out on the AP wire that weekend, and that was that was a lot of fun.
That's so cool. You'll have to send us that picture.
I will do that. I'll send you a whole bunch of pictures if you like.
Awesome. Awesome.
And that was on the Today
So-
Show. I wonder if we could search and find that video on the Today Show.
Well, I don't have it, but if you wanted to do that, but let me tell you something. It was one of my worst interviews ever. They had said in my ear. First of all, there's a delay. You know, there back in those days, it wasn't quite as technologically cool as it is now. So, but the earpiece kept falling out, and I'm on the Today Show, fumbling around trying to get the thing back in my ear so I could hear what they're saying, and it was fun, but it was almost embarrassing to be so fumbling around like that. But
I'm sure you did great, and everybody probably just thought it was so cute because you were getting married and all excited.
They did. And then the final touch was when we got to the finish line. You know, they announced that Marathon Man and Wonder Woman, which is what she was known as, were coming to the finish line. So when we got to the finish line, you know, I scooped her up, and Mickey was on one side and Donald was on the other side, and you know, I carried her across the finish line. There were some great photos of that too. And she likes to tell the story that she beat me by a nose because I was holding her.
I love it. That's awesome. And I'm guessing probably then weddings at marathons and stuff wasn't probably happening much. I'm guessing yours was probably one of the first, maybe.
You're right. And that's, you know, I am somewhat of an innovator, I guess. And I was aware that there were people getting married at marathons. And I just thought, wouldn't it be cool if I could make that happen at freaking Disney World? So I did. And,
Nice.
and she loved it. So
Yeah,
that's that story.
Yeah, I want to tell you that Jeff Heggelstead. So we're on live, so people can see it, and he's popped on here, and he wants to tell you that he loved Lean Horse 100 or Lean Horse, and him and his wife did the 20 mile just last Sunday. And Jeff,
okay.
You'll have to tell us, was that your wife's longest run? I saw something on social media about it, but yeah, leave a note for us so we can. Let Jerry know about that. But that's cool that you created that, and all these years later, people are doing this.
Yeah. It's let's see, 05 until 22 or 21 it's 15 years old now, I think, and Deadwood Mickelson is 20 years old now. So I don't have any children, so I've considered these events like my kids, and they're growing up and still alive and well, and I'm kind of proud of that and happy about that.
Yeah, it's a gorgeous course.
I was also.
Oh, we lost you again for a minute, Jerry. And it was Jeff's wife's longest run with 20 miles.
Nice.
He says.
Woohoo!
Oh, and Jeff's wife has bridge phobias. Uh-oh, we lost Jerry.
Yeah, maybe he'll be back in a second.
So yeah, Joanne's longest run, and she's afraid of bridges. And there's 28 bridges in 20 miles. So that was a lot of things to go over.
That's impressive. So she conquered her phobia and ran her first 20 miles. That's impressive.
And I'm kind of laughing that Jerry says that it's an easy course, because it's not as flat. Well, it's certainly not as flat as Hennepin. It is. I mean, it's not a hard course. I wonder what Jeff has to say about it. But there is a slight grade on it. It's not, and you're a little higher elevation too. So, I mean, I don't know that I noticed it, but it's really super pretty there. I hope Jerry's able to get back on.
Yeah, I bet he'll be back on in a second.
Yeah.
He has some great stories to tell.
I know.
I hope we can find some pictures of Disney and his photos because that sounds pretty fun.
Yeah, Rael, can you do that while you're, no, Rael's saying no. Let me see if I can search
Let's not
that.
get carried away here.
Yeah, producer over here, can you just like look that up really quick? So let's see, Jerry Dunn.
Show us the screen, Rael. We want to see another picture.
Jerry Dunn getting married at Disney. I'll do it on my phone here. Let's see.
Okay.
Getting married at Disney World. Yeah, because it was in Florida, so that would be Disney
World.
World.
It was in Florida. Yep.
Let's see here. Couple has fairy tale wedding at Disney World. Oh, that one's in 2018.
Oops.
So that would not be
copycats.
Yeah. Let's see if I can find something on YouTube.
It's cool that he really started that trend at Disney.
Yeah. Oh,
whoops.
Oh, I just turned on. I better not do that because it's making sound come out of my phone. Let's see. Oh, so Jeff says 880 vert for the 20 miles, and it's at 5,500 feet elevation. The entire, that's what I thought I remembered. It's like over 5,000 all the time, and then hot and sunny weather. It's kind of deserty sort of heat there, just really, really intense. Okay. But it is. I would like to go out. My husband wants to go out there and bike that trail.
Which state is it in?
It's in South Dakota.
Okay. All right. Nice.
Because he can't run that kind of distance anymore. Laura Erics, she did the 100, and Jeff's letting us know.
Nice. And then Coach Sam was supporting someone there that was doing his first 100. I'm not sure. I haven't heard the results of that. But,
okay.
But he was there too. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we need an Ornery Mule road trip out there next year. August. I only had 2 races this month to put on. Oh yeah, next year though I'll have 3, so we might not have time. Well, I hope Jerry can get back in.
I know.
He's from.
I was just looking. One of my athletes, Joe Zahns, is in South Dakota, and he was running the trails. And one of the names of the trails he mentioned might be the trail he was running on today. I can't remember what he called it. It's posted on the Trail Run coaching page.
Oh, in what town?
He was in Deadwood, South Dakota, and he ran on the Mickelson Trail. That's where his other race was?
Yeah, that's where the race is, the
Trail.
Mickelson Trail, yeah.
Okay, yep. So he was on there, and there's some pictures that I posted on Trail Run Coach of him running out on the trails. Looked really pretty.
And then Jerry was talking about in Indianapolis running, and that trail. Well, then he was talking about Butler University. That's where my son went to college at.
Oh,
so
okay.
He called it. I think it was Eagle Ridge Rail. Do you know where that trail is by Butler? Yeah, we'll have to check that out. But I actually didn't know he lived in that area for a while, and I wonder what running store it was, because there's one running store there. I can't think of the name of it, but they got like 8 stores right now. So I bet you that was Jerry's buddy, and now they got 8 stores.
Right. Oh, that's so cool.
That's how all that starts.
I think it's really interesting that he started running without shoes for 2 years. That's the long time. Some people play around with that for a little bit, but that was his beginning part of his running. He didn't even start in tennis shoes.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of interesting. I am kind of curious because he did say that on race day when he wore the first pair of Nikes, but it tore his feet up. I wonder if he started having any injuries once he started wearing shoes.
Yeah.
Because it does really change your form from running barefoot versus, running in shoes, because you don't want to heel strike when you're barefoot on the beach, because that doesn't feel good.
And then
And
then he said he had on Nikes, and I'm wondering, is Nikes the only shoes that were around at that time? Because I'm thinking I was in high school in the 80s, and And Nikes was where it was at. I don't
Yeah,
even
that's
remember.
what we all wore, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
All of our track shoes were Nikes.
Yeah.
I don't remember any other choices.
Yeah, not like nowadays, but there might have been. I mean, I think I remember Adidas, but I kind of feel like they were more like 90s. And there was
I'm
one
not sure.
other one, because there was one shoe company. I can't think of the name. Oh, I wish I could remember the name. And like Nike actually bought it to put it out of business because it was doing really well. And maybe I shouldn't be like, I think it was Nike. When I was a sales rep with all the like it was a story that was often told at the bar afterwards. So it might have got bigger and bigger, but it's
probably just some tall tale.
Yeah. I should text Rick and say what was that company, because although now I'm calling out Rick as the person that told me, but
an urban legend is what you're spreading now.
It was a company that you guys I think will recognize the name, but they said that it was huge, like it was really taking off. He's so Jeff's saying there was a gentleman that was in his 70s who finished Lean Horse 100.
Okay, so I do have an email from Jerry. He's not sure what happened and he can't get back into the meeting.
Okay.
Well, and I haven't seen him even on there, so.
Okay, well, so he must not be able to have reception, I'm guessing, tonight. But we are darn determined to get Jerry's story because, like, I'm a major fan. I got 2 of these gorgeous buckles right here. Look at how pretty that is.
Nice. That is cool. What's that in the middle?
It's a horse.
Can't quite see it.
Yeah.
Nice.
And so,
why is it called Lean Horse? Is there a reason for Lean Horse, or is that the name of the trail? Or
I don't know why it's called Lean Horse.
I was going to ask him that. I was curious.
And these are solid pewter. These are.
How nice. That's cool.
I don't have great lighting right there. But it's got a really beautiful design. And the inside there's like some flowers and stuff in there, and I am like all about the flowers. So yeah, I really, really like this buckle. And now I even like mine's it's a third place award.
Oh, that's cool.
Lean Horse
and
100.
It's cool that he made them. He made all of them.
Yeah, it says 2010 on there. I didn't even know. I don't really pay much attention to what I've done.
How cool.
So, yep.
So I did let him know that we still want his story, so we're going to reschedule and we'll get him on the show.
Yes. Yeah, we'll get this figured out. I mean, where's he at? He's
somewhere in Ecuador. He said he's in like one of the most popular hiking, running, like activity areas in Ecuador. He's on a little trip. I can't remember what city it is, but
oh my gosh.
So that could be why he's having a little bit of trouble.
Yeah.
His reception today. So yeah, but we can certainly get him back on.
Yeah. So you guys all got a little teaser, and you know how interesting he is. So we'll get back on later on and tell Joanne congratulations and Jeff congratulations on Lean Horse, and we will get back to you guys later. Is there anything that we need to share about? We should. If anybody's listening, we got the nutrition thing on Thursday.
Oh yeah. So we have a couple of events this week actually. Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Central Time, we have Michael Stocks that will be joining us for book club. We're reading One Track Mind. And Michael did send me a message today, and he said, am I the only mad person that will join at 1 a.m.? I'm like, well, Adair and Finn joined. He goes, exactly. So I guess they're mad. They're all mad. And then on Thursday, we have Kylie Van Horn, our newest dietitian, and Nicole Kernan, our other dietitian. And we're going to be doing a question and answer. It's free. So sign up. There's a place you can put questions in. We have some really great questions that have been submitted for them. So I'm excited to get the answers for those, and a big group of people there getting to learn a lot of great information.
And then Jeff also wants to talk about Recipe Club, because Coach Loretta has done a really good job starting to compile a bunch of great recipes of different kind of eating. Like some is vegan or vegetarian. some is more meat based, and everybody's welcome to send her a recipe, and we'll get it up on the trailrun.coach page. And then if you're like in a funk and looking for something healthy to eat, go to the page and be inspired.
Yes, absolutely. We have lots of really great recipes coming in. Today we posted one from our dietitian, Kylie Van Horn, and we'll have some that are going to be coming from community members. They're going to slowly be leaking out for you to see. So make sure if you send one that you send a picture of your own little meal so we can see it too, because it's nice to have that on there for a visual.
Yeah.
So I'm excited too. And Jeff, I'm waiting. I mean, he has bread that he just made, so I'm waiting for some good recipes.
Oh, good. Yeah, I want to hear how to make sourdough bread. Maybe somebody's gonna.
That's what he just made.
Oh
They
my
just made their
gosh.
first loaf.
I
Yes.
didn't see that. I keep seeing people do that, and I'm like, that's one thing I've cooked a lot. I enjoy cooking, and I like complicated stuff that you really have to do right. And sourdough is something I've never tried. So that looks really cool with the big crusty bread that grows, and
Yep.
I can't wait to see that, Jeff. Nice job.
Yes. Jeff and Joanne did that, and I got to see pictures, so it looked good. Looked yummy.
Well, really good. Well, we got lots of great stuff going on at Ornery Mule Racing. We have and then last weekend we shot a video. We had a video shoot here at the trailhead, and it is hilarious. It is so good. We had a bunch of models come out, and their acting skills were on point. So make sure you subscribe, because you're not going to want to miss this video when it comes out. It's probably going to come out this week, hopefully tomorrow. I just got to wait on Lil Row to make a couple more edits. So I think that's it. We got all kinds of good stuff.
Yep. Yeah, and I did get a message back from Jerry, and he's good with getting back together. He said we were just getting rolling too.
I know. So. Well, good.
So yeah.
Part 2 with Jerry coming up
That's
next.
Right.
So, well, thank you guys. Thanks you everybody for tuning in. How nice to tune in so quickly when we just gave you a little bit of a notice, but we really appreciate you guys.
Have a great night.
Bye everyone.
And we'll see you at book club, and then we'll see